Hey folks, Mike Dawkins from Worldcast Anglers here. Happy spring. Welcome back to another season of Jackson Hole fly fishing forecasts. We were really busy the past couple weeks with a successful fly fishing film tour showings in Teton Valley and Victor, as well as the Center for the Arts in Jackson. We had a great time seeing all of our friends and making new ones at the East Idaho Fly Expo down there in Idaho Falls. And spring is here. We've got a warm, sunny afternoon here on the South Fork of the Snake behind me. Winter was winning earlier this week in the greater Jackson Hole and Teton Valley area. We had some snow, we had some really cold temperatures and some dreary days. So anytime we can get some weather and some sunshine like this, we'll take it. Looking into this weekend for your fishing opportunities in the greater Jackson Hole and Teton Valley area, our snowpack and snow water equivalency right now is sitting at 99% of average, which is a great place to be, especially in the Rocky Mountain West right now. Our neighbors to the north haven't been as fortunate with as robust of a snowpack, and we just sort of have eked it out in the past month or so with getting our snow water equivalency up to 100% of average. Jackson Lake right now, 74% of capacity, and check this out, Palisades Reservoir is 92% of capacity. Those are like values that I usually report on, coming up in June, when reservoirs fill and things along those lines. So the omnipresent message is we've got a lot of water stored up, and we've got average water in our snowpack, which is going to mean we're going to have above average discharges and flows for this coming spring season. Our 10-day forecast is looking much warmer than it did this past week. Thank goodness for that. Saturday and Sunday, we've got some days in the mid 40s to low 40s. With some rain and some snow, so pretty typical Rocky Mountain spring weather. The South Fork of the Snake behind me right now is around 4,000 CFS. On Monday, April 1st, and no, this isn't an April Fool's joke, they're going to be bringing the river to 6,000 CFS. That'll come in 3 increments. So you'd probably say, hey, Dawkins, that's a bit abnormal this time of year to have so much water going through the South Fork of the Snake, and I would agree with you. But like I was saying earlier, we've got so much water stored up in our reservoirs that water managers now are starting to let go of some of that water a little bit early to mitigate for flood risk and things along those lines. So look behind me for the South Fork of the Snake to go to 6,000 CFS on Monday. Right now, water conditions are really good. They're clear. I would suspect on Monday to see some, more turbid conditions as the discharges increase and we start to turn up a lot of material. But looking at our boat ramps, the dam is open. Huskies is a sort of short drag on some snow, as well as Spring Creek Bridge here down below me. Conan is a little bit different of a story. The parking lot's pretty dry, but as you know, that boat ramp is long and shaded, and it requires a pretty long drag up to the parking lot area. Cottonwood is closed until April 15th for wintering wildlife. Wolf is open, but there's a lot of potholes on that road this time of year, and Byington and Lorenzo are open. So those are other ones to keep in mind. Historically, this time of year, the lower river is usually only around like 2,000 something CFS. This is going to open up some great opportunities on the lower South Fork of the Snake for the spring fishing season and spring floating season. Water temperatures are still cold. I would concentrate on nymphing with rubber legs, zebra midges, San Juan worms, small Baetis imitations, Capnia stone imitations, and things like that. You may find some fish eating some midges and things along those lines, but I wouldn't probably spend a lot of time, on them. It'll probably be very sporadic. To our north, the Henry's Fork, we've got 451 CFS coming out of the Box Canyon, 1,220 CFS there on the lower river. In honesty, the lower Henry's Fork is one of our favorite winter fisheries in the local area. We're starting to see some great Baetis hatches, and we've got some great midge hatches, which is providing the beginning of our spring dry fly fishing season up there on the lower Henry's Fork. Nymphing is still very productive. Rubber legs, worms, eggs, pheasant tails, zebra midges, small tungsten sort of tactical techie tailwater Baetis patterns, all of that stuff can be very productive this time of year. Warm River access requires you to sort of slide your boat in, but it's pretty easy. Ashton boat dock and the Ashton boat ramp is dry and ready to go. And Ora, Vernon, Chester, and Fun Farm are all accessible with four-wheel drive and boat access, raft access, trailer access, everything along those lines. So you've got a plethora of float fishing options there on the Lower Henry's Fork going into the spring season as well. The Snake in Jackson, we've got 273 CFS coming out of Jackson Lake, 1,460 CFS there on the Lower River. Similarly to the Lower Henry's Fork, the Snake can offer some really good pre-runoff fishing days, and we're coming up on those right now. You know, mostly a midge and capnia stone game, or the squallas should be coming on here as water temperatures warm up and we get longer days, warmer nights, warmer days, which will in turn, you know, warm up the warmer ambient air temperature will warm the water temperature, and we'll get some more bug activity. Unfortunately, Wilson Bridge is still closed, and it's going to be closed until about June 1st. I'm sure everyone has sort of heard about that and can issue their public comment to Teton County, Wyoming commissioners about that access. But that sort of leaves South Park and Astoria open to be used for floating access and things along those lines. And that's a big thanks to our friends at the Snake River Fund and our friends and everybody that came out to our fly fishing film tour, because a lot of our proceeds from our fly fishing film tour raffles and events was given to Snake River Fund to help with that snow removal type thing. But be ready, you know, I wouldn't be afraid of fishing some dry droppers, you know, on the Snake, some nymphs with smaller rubber legs, smaller stoneflies to imitate those squala stones, zebra midges, small pheasant tails, you know, and things along those lines. The Teton in the valley, you know, Teton Valley still has a lot of snow on the ground. Most of the boat ramps are accessible, but you're going to be sliding boats in and out. Flows are really low at 249 CFS in the valley, 473 CFS down low. Maybe you'll see some dry fly fishing activity with midges in the beginning of blue-ringed olives, but those flows, as I was saying, are super low and super clear. So definitely concentrate on those areas where you find deeper holding water and structure. The fly shop, we're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturdays on 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We're still closed on Sundays until we get through spring break and get into the meat of our spring season. But that's about it. Welcome back. We thank everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you here next week.